Hi, welcome and welcome back. I hope you're doing well. Patterns matter. So let's continue our conversation and talk about grandiose male narcissists or fake friends. I shared a video about the alleged murderer where I described how things unfolded with him and culminated in the murder of his family. There were some telltale signs along the way and some patterns of behavior that didn't make sense to me at the time. But once I looked back at everything and how things progressed, culminating in a very tragic ending, it made sense. And especially once I came into this knowledge of narcissism and narcissistic abuse, then things really made sense. And I could literally see the different stages, phases, as well as the patterns of behavior that fell under each phase. I wanted to share with you several things that I noticed or that emerged as patterns of behavior. One was during the love bombing phase when I was contacted by this guy. It was the fast talking, salesy, once in a lifetime opportunity, got to jump on this kind of approach to things. And hey, you can help and let's do this. Another sign was the flood of text messages. Are you seeing a pattern here? The flood of text messages where he was showing off deals that he was closing behind the scenes when he went on a couple of shows for interviews, like The Doctors, which I had mentioned previously. Set photos and these messages of, hey, look what I'm doing. Look what's going on. Hey, having a great time. And a lot of these things were definitely legitimate, but the context that these things were happening in and the way that he was using these different things, that's another story. A third thing that I noticed was triangulation that took place, especially with other people in the community that this guy duped. He would make statements to me like, oh, you see, you and I, we're on the same page. We understand each other. And, you know, those guys don't really get it, or they don't really understand, or they're not on the same level and they don't operate in the same way. But we understand each other. Others can't relate. And then later in the game, there was the recruitment trying to get me to be a flying monkey. Hey, do you know where so-and-so is? I can't get a hold of them. Have you talked to them? What's going on? I can't get a hold of them. When panic was starting to set in. Now, what I didn't realize was that he was losing his grip and that one by one, people were just getting away from him and backing away from the situation, and he was losing control. So he was starting to panic. So he was trying to recruit me to go figure out where everybody was and help him get in touch with everybody and help him to kind of regroup and regain control. And my response was, you know, you guys are grown. Like, if you want to talk to so-and-so, call so-and-so. And even then, I didn't realize what was coming down the pipeline. Another thing that emerged as a pattern was the future faking, keeping me in the dark, like still kind of dangling this opportunity and talking about big things and all these projects and stuff. Like, oh, well, I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted, or I'll update you when something comes up. And just kind of like, you know, leaving me hanging, keeping me guessing. Another aspect of the future faking was the promise of, oh, we're all going to get contracts if this gets picked up and this and that, and really need your help, and oh, it's going to be great, and all this other kind of stuff, and the hype factor. And finally, there was the discard. I got discarded because I wasn't falling in line. In fact, if you'll recall in my video on murder and manipulation, I mentioned that he had contacted me when I had already arrived in town and ready to help out in some capacity with this video shoot. And there were other people there as well. And I had arrived before he did, and he had lied, and I caught him in the lie and corrected him. And at that point, I wasn't playing along. I wasn't going to be a flying monkey. I drew a boundary. I was like, you know what? I'll help you out in this capacity, but that's about it. And just really set some boundaries. And he didn't like that at all. And that was in addition to the fact that he was losing control of some of the other sources of supply, some of the other people that he was duping. And so at that point, there was a point where he just cut me off completely, cut off communication, stopped talking to me, stopped filling me in on things, told other people to not talk to me about what was going on and that he would handle it. But really, he wasn't handling it. He really was not talking to me anymore and ended up just discarding me and stopping communicating altogether, which, as it turns out, was fine because I was able to back away, remove myself from the situation, and just move on to other things. And who knew that the whole situation would just come to a boiling point to where he allegedly murdered his family. And it's about that time of year. Very sad, very unfortunate. At any rate, those were some of the signs that came down the pipeline. And I think some of the key things were getting a heads up. I mentioned before that one of our mutual friends had given me a heads up because she had kind of backed away from the situation. Our experiences were different, but she backed away, and then she called me and gave me a warning, which I tucked away and kept observing. And then when my time came, where it became clear to me that, hey, this isn't really going anywhere, and hey, you let me know when you get it together type thing, and just removing myself from the situation. And as it turns out, it was for the best. This guy was yet another person who was kind of a celebrity in his own mind. And some of the things that he was doing were very real, as I mentioned before, but there was a lot of stuff that he lied about too. Kind of puffing himself up, the kind of fast moving, fast talking kind of sales guy type thing, and really just sucking up all this attention and just getting people to, be excited and all hyped up about him and the things that he was doing. I think he got in over his head. And I think that getting left or discarded by other people along the way who were realizing the lies, got tired of the future faking and the, all talk, no action, just really caused everything to just kind of fall apart. Have you experienced a grandiose male narcissist or fake friend? Comment below and share your experience. It may help someone else, and I'd love to hear your story. Narcissists can be celebrities in their own minds and will soak up the time and attention of any and everyone who is willing to sit in the audience, so to speak. When the future faking, the lies, and just the all talk, no action just drags out, and folks start becoming weary of being strung along, things can fall apart and unravel very quickly. And that's when it becomes apparent who and what you're dealing with. You're not alone, and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.